All right, Jim, let's get a question or two before we wrap things up. This next one was sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from John in Bristol, UK. Thanks for the great podcasts and insight. Do you think that NXT has possibly had a more negative effect on WWE than it has positive? I ask because in wrestling, a debut was always a big deal. Who is this guy? What can he do? Who's he going to feud with? Etc., etc. Now the audience knows pretty much everything about each new main roster debut. Then fans start whining about character changes when guys move to the main roster. Not a fan of his at all, but take Cena, for example. He was a monster heel, right? Then he debuts on WWE TV as a complete white meat babyface. It worked because few people saw...
When was he a monster heel?
In OVW, I think he's referring to.
He was a heel, but he wasn't a monster heel.
Well, maybe he hasn't seen OVW, John in Bristol. Let me go back to this. Debuts as a complete white meat babyface. It worked because few people saw OVW because it didn't have the reach of NXT.
Right.
So by NXT being so popular, has it created an issue for WWE in regard to actual development of talent, writing, etc.?
Well, I thought where he was going with that is, has NXT been detrimental to the WWE because their developmental program put on a better program with more exciting matches and more interesting shit, and it made the other programs, Raw and SmackDown, look bad? That's where I thought he was going. It's not NXT's fault that they don't know what to do with their talent. So NXT, the previous iteration of it, if they're going to have a third brand and a developmental brand on national TV, that was the best pretty much they probably could have hoped for. And then they changed everything about it, and that sucks pond water. But it wasn't NXT's fault that they... Obviously, one of the big attractions of wrestling in the old days was when somebody new came into your territory, you might have heard about them in the magazines, but you'd never seen them in person. And before the video era, you'd never seen them at all. You couldn't see them unless they were on your local TV or came to your town. Those talents were a blank slate. And you could bring in, of course, if it was a preliminary or an underneath guy, then, you knew that because that's where they were slotted when they came in. But if it was a main event guy, he was a blank slate to you. All you knew was big reputation, and whatever they did with him got him over. So it was always good to see people for the first time in that environment where they could be, elevated to a main event spot. Well, NXT on USA took that away, that they're going to see these talents because it's on USA Network. But what has never been explained, what there is no reason for, what there's no suitable explanation for, and no goddamn sense to, is taking a guy from NXT and bringing him to Raw or SmackDown and changing anything. Name, gimmick, appearance, whatever. You're a fucking idiot if you've done that. Not the talent, the office. You're an idiot if you've done it and you've just admitted that you're a dumb fuck and you don't know what you're doing. And you've ruined, probably, your talent. Because, yes, from OVW, which was on TV in one metropolitan area in the country and a couple of adjoining smaller areas, versus national TV, change them, do whatever you want. But when you're making a lateral move from USA Network on Tuesday to USA Network on Monday, or the Fox Network on Friday, and you change a guy's name or gimmick or look or manner of dress or whatever after people have already been watching him, you're just a complete fucking imbecile, is what you are. And instead of doing that, I've never, ever in my life changed a guy's name or gimmick after I had already put him on television and had the power to change it before. I put him on television under that name and that fucking gimmick because we thought it was good. And if you change it on the same television program or in front of the same audience on a different program, but on the same channel, then you've just told those people, besides the fact that this is fake and this guy is phony, we obviously fucked up before and it was stupid of us to do that. So if you've got a talent that you want to use, but you think, well, I've fucked up, I've given him the wrong name or the wrong gimmick, and it ain't his fault, then fucking pay him for 6 months. It's $1 billion corporation. Pay him for a year. And have him go home and learn a new hold. Or a new fucking something, and bring him back after a year when people may have forgotten that he was the previous guy. And now he can be somebody else. You can't just, oh, shit, last week he was on Raw, but now he's on NXT. It's the same network and the same fans watching, but we're going to change his name and everything about him. That's fucking stupid.
Everyone who watched NXT and got excited about Karrion Kross and then saw him on the main roster. Keith Lee,
Yes.
same thing.
Yes. And I'm not, changing someone that's already been on television, especially if you're changing him for the worse, is bad, but changing them for the better is not good either, because you've just changed him and told people this is all phony. He's not really that guy. He's somebody else. Or we'll tell him to be, and he'll listen to us because he does what we tell him. None of these things is good for wrestlers. You want people to believe that the person that you're presenting on television is that person. And when they go along with their name being changed and their the stuff they wear being changed and the way they're presented, then they're telling the fans, yeah, I'm as phony as a football bat anyway. So it's stupid. If you put a fucking guy on television and it's not the right name or the right gimmick, it's your fucking fault. Don't take it out on the talent, and don't fucking fuck him up just because you didn't know what you were doing. And the idea of changing a guy's name or gimmick after he's been on television, seen by the same audience that you're trying to foist him off on again, and you change that, you're a fucking moron. It's unforgivable. Otherwise than that, I have no opinion.
Okay, well, you've been pretty explicit in your thoughts on that.